In my hands here are two very, very worthy trout lures. We've got a soft plastic and a minnow. But which one is the best? Hey you! You're watching Robbie Fishing. It is a magnificent May morning here in northeast Victoria. I'm sitting in the sun, and with the sun fair in my eyes, talking about fishing lures and which one's the best. I could easily say, yeah, soft plastics are way better than minnows. Some people might tell you that minnows are better than soft plastics, but I'm here to tell you that they've all got their place. The soft plastic, let's start off talking about the soft plastic. The soft plastic, here in Australia we call it a soft plastic. Over in America they call it a soft bait because it's a bait, but it's an artificial bait made out of soft plastic, so we just call it a soft plastic. These are the most versatile lures on the market. You can fish them shallow along the surface, you can bob them up and down under the boat or your kayak, you can cast them out and work them along the bottom or along the top or along the middle of the water column. You can just dab them in front of fish's faces. I've done that in trout streams, and there's a trout hiding under a log or something. You can just let it sink, jig it around a little bit, and the trout will hit it. You can't do any of that sort of stuff with the minnow. So the soft plastic is without doubt the most versatile of the lot. It's much more versatile than the minnow, and it's pretty much more versatile than most other lures on the market. It's soft, and that softness can mean that a fish will strike it and it'll feel natural. It'll feel like natural. When a fish bites a grasshopper or a cricket or something, it's squishy. When a fish hits this, it's squishy. So if it doesn't hook up, it's likely to come back and have another go. And I've had trout come out 8 or 9 casts in a row before hooking up. I never really seem to get that with minnows. So the soft plastic is a lot more versatile, and it's a lot natural feeling, and it's also a lot more natural looking. That looks just like a little mud eye or a yabby or something. It just looks like some kind of little creature that might be existing under the water. They can be a lot more natural looking, and they also, if you've got a few different colours, you can change colours. You might find that the trout aren't touching black and blue. There might not be anything black and blue existing in the environment, so you might want to try something orange. If that doesn't work, then you might want to try something white or something black or something yellow. It doesn't really matter. So overall, soft plastics are a lot more versatile and they're a lot more cost effective. Let's have a look here. This and this, there's probably $20 there, $10 there, $10 there. That'll vary $1 or $2 depending on which brand you get, but overall for $20 you're going to get 10 soft plastics and you're going to get 5 jig heads. Now those 5 jig heads will probably outlast 3 or 4 packets of these soft plastics. Soft plastics, after a while, fish will pull their tails off, or they just get worn out after catching heaps of fish and you've got to replace them. Unless you lose them on a snag, jig heads pretty much last forever. So $20 is a starting point and you get a bare minimum of 5 lures. That is $20. $20 just gets you 1 minnow, and that's it. If you lose it on a snag, you've got to go and spend another $20. So overall, the soft plastics, they're more cost effective, they're more natural presenting, they feel more natural, and they're much more adaptable to any situation and more versatile. I love soft plastics. But there are times, and trout are notorious for this, where the trout won't engulf the whole lure or won't smash the lure. They'll just go peck, 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 and they'll hit the tails. That could be as a result of fishing pressure. It could be just trout being trout. Particularly in the autumn when they're getting ready to spawn, they like to escort things away from their partner or their nest or the spot where they're planning to spawn, and they'll hit the tails, and you'll have fish chasing these out all day and they won't hook up. That's when you want one of these, because it has the hooks at the back. It's only got a peck at the tail and you'll get a hook up. That's when you want a minnow. A minnow is certainly a very good lure as well. It's not as versatile, not as cost effective, and if you want to change colours, well, you've got to go a whole different lure, but they certainly have their place. My favourite time of year to use minnows is in the autumn, just before the trout are about to spawn, when they're getting aggressive and they want to chase them out. But there's times throughout the season where this won't work and this will, and there's times where this won't work and this will. If I'm casting this out and it doesn't cast far enough, I want it to cast further. Say I'm fishing on the edge of a lake like Lake William Hovell, I'm casting out and I just wish I could get out a bit further where the fish were rising. I can't, because that's fixed. That's a fixed size. With the jig head, I can just upsize to a bigger jig head, a heavier jig head, and cast further. Or I can, if this is too heavy, I've stuck with what I've got. With the jig head I can go to a lighter jig head. So soft plastics are much more versatile, but minnows are certainly very, very good as well. So there's a spot for both, but that's a good comparison for each of their own. Minnows come in a range of different styles. This one here is one of my favourite. This is a pontoon tantalizer. It's a jointed minnow. The tail swims, and in the water it just looks really natural, and the fish love it. The fish climb all over it. Just recently I was fishing with... I used a number of different colours, but I thought being late in the season the orange would work. With a jig head similar size to this, I caught one trout and I had heaps of other fish follow but not hook up. And I put one of these on, and then I caught 3 or 4 in quick succession. The minnow was better than the soft plastic on that day. But then there are other days, like when I was fishing with my friend Ozzy from Ozzy's Fishing and Outdoors YouTube channel, only about a month or 2 back. We went fishing and we just cleaned up using dark coloured Striped Tiger Nymph soft plastics, one after the other. Ozzy started off with a minnow and he might have caught 1 or 2. He even put some worms on for a while, and I think he caught 1, but that was all they wanted. I think if you're a dedicated trout angler and you love going trout fishing, you'll have a selection of soft plastics and jig head sizes and a few lures in the in your artillery, a few minnows in your artillery as well. Folks, hopefully that has given you a bit of an understanding, or a good understanding, of soft plastics versus minnows. Which one's best? Overall, they're both great. My favourite is probably the soft plastic, just because it's so much more versatile. Thank you all very much for watching.